What's going on? It's time for another episode of Too Hard for the Radio, transmitting from the future free state of Greater Idaho, where I dropped my teeth on the ground and chipped them. I'm looking like Jim Carrey. I am the one-armed madman. And with me, he's back from Milwaukee. It's Nolan 5150. How we doing, my man?
Yo. Doing pretty good.
Oh,
I don't know if
shit.
you can read
He's
that.
got the fucking master patch. He's got the master patch going on.
Yep.
Man. And actually, I was going to surprise you with this, but I might as well just drop it on you now. I ordered you a vest on eBay. I was like, man, he's got his patches. He needs a fucking... a gay old vintage Harley jacket. My original idea was like you needed the gay. Yeah. I was like, my original idea was to get you the gayest Harley hat possible. So like one of those Frenchy looking hats, just like super fucking gay. But those are kind of expensive. And then you got the patches. Like, you need something with a patch. And so the one that I ordered, they didn't like. They kind of fucked me, I think, and now the thing's gone, so I can't really check. But like, it has a big ass patch on the back of it that I was not aware of, and it's not like a patch that I think is great. It's a Harley Owners Group patch.
Oh yeah, so, yeah. They call those,
which is cool, but you don't own a fucking Harley.
Yeah, there's that.
But anyways.
They call that the Hog members group.
Yeah. Well, I figured, it'll be an aspirational goal for you. Like you can hang it up and then you can say, you know what, someday maybe I'll grow up and I'll be able to wear this thing.
Shit. Man, I tried.
Anyways,
I tried to make a play on a trade-in 09 Dyna Super Glide that we got a while back, but didn't really work out too good. What my price should have been, as far as I understand it, for an employee, is not the price that I was quoted. Not only was it almost $1,000 more than what I understand it should have been. I was also told as an employee, I would have to pay dock fees. So.
Wow.
Which is basically somebody sitting at a desk signing a piece of paper. So
yeah.
I found that out. I found that out, and the bike has a lot of potential, but it needed a lot of little stuff. So I got a little bit upset at the price I was quoted, and I just decided to wipe my hands of it. There's always another bike, and
sure.
And honestly, I knew it wasn't, a good financial choice at the point in time anyway, but there's the whole thing over my head, I should probably own a motherfucking Harley.
Sure.
But, so I decided to just pass on it and unfortunately, watch the dealership lose money on the deal instead of selling it to me and making a Rockstar employee happy and actually making a little bit of money.
So what's your general feeling on the two-wheel front right now? Are we still an R6 guy, or are we more of a Dyna guy now?
Oh, me? Dude, it's like I get in this conversation all the time, like sitting at a bar or whatever, dude next to me finds out I'm a motorcycle mechanic, and all of a sudden they want to be my best buddy. End up always getting asked in some fashion, oh, well, what's your favorite bike, My response is always, what kind of riding are we going to be doing? And and that's always my answer. I love all makes and models of motorcycles, just kind of like I love all makes and models of ladies.
Well, I wouldn't say that I love all makes and models of ladies. There's a good, decent portion of them, but not all. I'm not a fat boy type of guy, if you know what I'm saying. But you can't ride those fucking rice burners forever. You can kill yourself at some point. Well, you already had the one. At least on a Harley, you're going a little bit slower.
Man, that's what they say, dude. But I go, yes, a Harley, like anything, anything that's not like a drag Harley or something like that. Yeah, you're not going to be able to go 160 miles an hour like you could on my, not very modified '07 Gixxer 600, but at the same time, you can still get yourself into a whole lot of trouble. And a friend that I met and made in Milwaukee at one of my classes not too long ago, he was riding one of his Harleys, and I didn't get a lot of details, but it happens all the time, and I hear it probably equally from Harley riders and sport bike riders for the most part. Pretty much anything on street, but that's the majority that you hear of.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if like there's not much of a difference in wrecking. It's just for people like us, like you're like me, you like to push it. And when you're on something that you can really get aggressive on, you start doing shit that you probably shouldn't be doing, right? Like that's what's kind of cool about my bike is you can get aggressive on it, but once you get on the highway, man, it doesn't have the bubble. So you just can't really do all that much. Like it's fun in the city. Like you can do some, I did some really sketchy shit on it in the city, going in and through cars and running from cops around corners. But like, yeah, man, it just seems like those bikes that you ride, man, they just, once you get on the fucking freeway, you just want to drop they don't even feel right doing 65, like it feels like you're going too slow. It feels like you're going to tip over. Like the bike feels heavy and sluggish, and it just doesn't feel right at that speed. They don't really feel right until like 90 from what I can remember. And I haven't ridden them as much as you, but
and then from 90 to 140, it doesn't feel any different.
No different
it
whatsoever.
Just feels
I remember
right.
when we got on the freeway, the first thing, I looked down and I'm doing 95. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I feel like I'm doing 60.
Are you talking? I was just going to mention that. Are you talking about when you came down to Vista and I let you ride my Gixxer, and then I took one of those used Gixxers, and yeah, dude, we were getting it pretty good for a little while. that was fun,
dude. That was the first time I had ever really ridden a street bike. Like I'd ridden the DRZ on the street. I guess it's really the only time that I've ridden a bike like that, because I don't even put this bike in the same category. Yeah, like this bike is just it's completely different. Compared to
it's got similarities, but it definitely is not designed for the same.
So how was school this time around? Highs, lows, anything cool?
So I did. In late January, I did my advanced electrical diagnostic class, and then early February, I did my advanced powertrain class. Both of those are required to get my master certification. And it was kind of interesting. The electrical class was, I feel like my electrical class before that one, which was touring electronics for my expert patch, I believe, that one was actually made me a lot more nervous, and I had a lot more anxiety during that one. And it's because I feel like there was a lot more a lot new information and stuff that I was learning. And
I just got a text.
Oh, and dealing with, so getting through that one gave me a giant boost of confidence and everything, and just the download of knowledge and data and stuff that I got from that class basically carried into the expert class or the advanced class. And the only difference is they pretty much tell, the instructor is not kind of guiding you and giving you nearly as much help as they were in the previous one. In the previous one, you could like do some shit, call them over and be like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I found, this is what the problem is, and they'll kind of be like, okay, you're going this direction, go that direction. So I just had a way better understanding of the electronic systems and stuff and the tests, and the big thing is being sure that you're getting the right test results and then interpreting those results to tell you exactly what's going on. So it was still nervous. I've taken every single class, pretty much except for the first one. The first one's chassis maintenance. That's basically day one stuff. So that one was not very bad at all, but pretty much all of them I take very serious, and I was trying to stay focused. The powertrain class was, so I was basically doing a stage 3 kit on an M8 engine, and so that, and that class, the instructor gave me so much tuning information that I know I've already forgot like a lot of it. That class, I think I took more notes in both of my advanced classes than I did in any other class. I was just literally like sitting there as the instructor's going, trying to write down and pay attention at the same time. But the amount of
you recorded it.
That's kind of frowned upon.
Yeah,
and there was, because there's also the aspect of, it's not like they want to have somebody have a fucking video of every day of the class to go back and give it to a coworker that's about to take the class. You can give people pointers and tips and stuff like that, but for somebody to sit there and be able to watch the whole thing or whatever the case may be. And but one dude in my powertrain class, he was literally sitting there every single a lot of PowerPoints, every single slide that came up, the guy was just like click, click, click with his phone, and then he was like recording, some sections of when the instructor was just kind of going into depth of some performance modifications and tuning stuff. And he kind of threw him a couple little hints the first day, and the second day he was like, "Look, man, don't record my entire class, okay?" So, and I knew that was coming. Like I said,
you can just feel it.
You can take all the notes you want. They encourage that 100%. And there's from time to time, if they put up a slide or whatever, that they don't mind if you like put your phone up and like take a pic of something that you don't want to take the time to like draw out in your notes and stuff like that. That's all cool. But yeah, I thought about it. I honestly wanted to do the same thing.
Oh,
but
I can imagine, because you're like hearing that shit and it's gold, dude. I've been helping my buddy TJ out because he just bought bikes, and he's like kind of going through his bike. His bike's a 2015, and the guy didn't take great care of it. Like, it's in decent shape, but like, his linkage bearings are just completely seized up and fucked. His sprocket was stock, chain was stock, just chain standing up on its own, just horribly nasty. And man, I've been going through YouTube, and there is just so much useful shit on YouTube for working on bikes that I just never knew.
Yeah.
Like, we did the best we could, but nobody ever taught. Like, Al taught me, and Al didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
Yeah.
Like, he learned from Ralph, who didn't know what the fuck he was doing. Ralph knew dick shit,
Yeah.
Like, Ralph would just make it up as he goes. So being able to like get on and get like actual like. Dude, I found this video where this pro rider's like showing you how to properly align your front end. And it's like, fuck, man, I wonder how many times I misaligned it. Or I wonder how many, because like I'm pretty good with torque, so I didn't really torque stuff all that often.
Yeah.
And there's like the forks, man. I didn't realize how sensitive the fork tubes were to torque.
Yeah.
And like the dude showing, he's got like 2 forks. He's got one of them over torqued and one of them at torque. And you without springs in it, so the tubes just move through. And you watch one of them just drops and just falls straight in. The other one's like, nyeh. It's like, man, 2 foot-pounds will do that. And so you got to wonder, like, how much was I just really shooting myself in the foot? And like sag, like these guys are setting their sag every time they go out now.
Yeah, man.
And like I set my sag when I got the suspension back from Pro Circuit, and like I don't know that I ever set it again. Like same thing, like I would get my stuff back from Race Tech, and the guy would set it for me, and then that was it. We just never really thought about it, and now it's like, man, that bike's wearing in constantly, and you really just have to fucking be on it.
Yeah, maintenance items, man.
It's interesting. Like I just wonder. Like I was always good at maintenance because I knew how to do it, but like just tricks of these little things that like affect the way the bike handles, and man, just some of the stuff you can watch about suspension tuning. 10 minutes of listening to Chris Kiefer, and I'm like, holy shit, I just learned more than I ever knew about suspension in 10 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like, on one hand, super cool. Like, super cool to have that information and be able to, like, use it now as a kid.
Yeah.
But on the other, like man,
what could I have done if I knew?
Like, oh my God. And then also, like, there's the age thing. Like, right now, you remember when I was racing, it was like, well, if I don't get it this year, I'm basically fucked. Because, like, I've got, at that point, like, I'm looking at retirement age. Now these guys are in their 30s and they're still racing. And like, Zach Osborne retired at 26. You remember Zach? He came in, we had dinner together that night. And Zach won a championship, an outdoor championship, 450s. And then he had a rough year. And then he just retired at like 26. And then he sat around for like 2 years. And now the word is that he's training again and he's going back to race the nationals. It's like, good for you, man.
Yeah.
You're like, he's like 32 years old. He's still a bad motherfucker. Like, he got his ass kicked at GNCC for an entire year. He thought he could do that. And it's just, GNCC's tough because it's like moto. Like, when the Euros come over here, they don't know our tracks because they've just never ridden them. Like, all the GNCC guys have grown up riding those tracks, so they know every fucking bump, every turn. And those tracks get gnarled out compared to moto. Like, when you see the end of a GNCC race, you're like, holy shit, a fucking tank went through here. Because they do quads on Saturday and then the main on Sunday.
Oh, fuck.
So, like, the track gets just really destroyed. All right, so I got one more question about the school, and then this will lead me into something else. So now that you're done, right? Or do you have another one still?
Well, at this point in time, right now, yes, I'm done with all the, like, in-person classes that I have to take. There was talk of you know, there's always going to be advancements. There's going to be changes. There will be another class.
Refreshers.
Not even just a refresher. Like, there will be at some point in time, because they introduced the
Constantly adding new shit.
Yeah, they introduced the M8 with VVT, variable valve timing. And they're just constantly changing stuff. So there will, you know, I would say within a year or two, they would be stupid to not put out at least another, like, you know, a master update class or something like that, where you come in and they just kind of like blow through all the new stuff, all the change stuff and whatever. It just, they have to. It's the way it goes. And there was talk about another course for master techs for like a mentoring class to mentor,
well,
like,
that's a big thing, man.
It's it is for sure. And you know, I kind of laughed. It's I took a little jab. I was like, so there's going to be a couple days of sensitivity training. So,
yeah, for sure.
So we don't make these.
And it's like, here's a picture of my face the first time I came here.
Yeah.
Don't do that. All right. So my question is, we've been covering HD since before you started going to these classes. We've been covering the EVs, kind of like the direction they're heading with the company. And like, personally, I have very little confidence in the future of Harley Davidson. And I think before you've done these classes, I think you kind of were probably not quite in the same boat as me because you see it every day, but I think you're probably right there. After being around there, being at headquarters, seeing some of the people that they have in charge, how is your confidence compared to before you went there?
Confidence like in the company? Like,
yes.
Is that what you're saying? Confidence in the company?
It definitely, in the future, like, are they doing the right things? Did they have their eye on the ball, or are they kind of just missing it? I
would definitely say that my opinion, you know, before I started going to classes, and even like halfway through the classes or whatever, it was definitely kind of like a little wishy-washy, not sure. Now, and especially since they have, I don't know if you've seen the new 2024 models.
No.
They released them. They released them. I think in February or in January or something like that. But seeing their new models, the changes that they've made from the last, I think, 2 or 3 years to they're like completely, not completely. It's pretty much the same M8 engine platform, but they've made some suspension changes that on their new CVO ST model. They now have inverted forks, which is a
needed to happen since the 80s.
yes, exactly.
80s and
Thank
90s.
you. Yeah. So it's things like that. They call it infotainment center. It's their big touch screen display on their new touring bikes. It is badass, and so it's kind of like anything. There definitely are some solid points that I think they are definitely heading in the right direction. The problem is always, I guess, engineering and development and implementing these changes into their production models. But there are clear signs, in my opinion, from these 2024 models especially, that tell me that they are definitely heading in the right direction, at least for their like the touring bikes. The Pan Am, I think, is a pretty cool platform, and I'm kind of excited to see what happens over the next couple of years with that. Never been a big Sportster fan. The new ones with the Rev Max are just kind of they're just like kind of small framed, like any Sportster really. I mean, it would be fun to just buzz around town or whatever, but I was actually laughing the other day because we just unloaded one off the truck, one of the new Sportsters. I think it was the 975. I can't remember if that's an RH model or not, but everything from the steering neck back looks relatively modern and relatively good. There's a little bit too much plastic on it for my taste, like obvious plastic. But besides that, everything from the steering neck back looked modern and good. And then it was just the entire front end, from the handlebars to the bottom of the front tire, the forks, everything looked like you said it was right out of the 80s, because it was still the old school forks.
Yeah, conventional
Yeah,
stock.
yeah. It just looks ridiculous. And the fact, it's just little stuff like that. But at the same time, you got to understand they still got to push shit out. So hopefully, I mean, that Sportster with the Rev Max in it, if it had inverted forks and just a little bit nicer looking fucking front wheel, it would be a much better looking and probably much better riding motorcycle.
So clearly they have a vision. Is like, when you guys go in there, do they kind of sit you down and go like, take you around, show you around the place and go like, all right, look, this is our vision for the company moving into the future. This is who we're selling bikes to now. This is who we want to sell bikes to in the future. And this is how we're going to do it. Or are you guys just kind of like piss-ons and we're not really going to tell you anything?
Not really either of those, honestly. They, trust me, every single class I've gone to, students ask questions about, unreleased stuff, potential for changes in models and everything. And every single class I've gone to, the instructors have had to, do the obvious. Well, I've signed an NDA, but this is what I'm going to tell you, which is I know nothing.
Yeah.
So it's to a degree there, and they try really hard to keep everything locked down and under wraps, because they don't want people to know. They don't want other manufacturers to really know what they're working on and everything. But, but at the same time, they do. things that are fair play, they definitely will discuss and talk about a little bit, but there are very, very hard limits on any kind of
I would
like new
imagine.
unreleased
So,
stuff.
so the reason I brought this up, because since we last talked, a lot of shit's gone down in moto. Whole lot of shit. Triumph's had their debut at Detroit. Decent debut. One of their guys made the main. Other guy hole shotted the LCQ from an outside gate, which is huge. A couple weeks later, this was like, I guess last week, or no, this week, early this week, they finally released the bike to the press. So they went out to Gatorback and they brought everybody in. And like, you know how there's been a lot of project bikes. Cannondale, Aprilia, BMW did like an adventure bike type of thing. Like there's a lot of mainstream like producers that have trying to get into moto, and they've all just epically failed. Like even Buell, they tried to get in and just epic failure, right? So it's kind of hard to know what you're gonna get with something like this, right? It's like Triumph is they're kind of in the same boat as Harley Davidson. They're this historical brand that has just all kinds of backing and notoriety and just like a history of greatness that kind of surrounds these type of companies.
Yeah.
But they're also going through the same problems as Harley, where their clientele is literally dying. They said that their average age customer right now is 46. And you just can't sustain a business like that, right?
Yeah.
So their whole plan is we are going to build a bike and we are going to drastically lower the age of our customer base to the point where they're going to build kids bikes. They haven't decided if they're going to do electric or gas powered yet, but like they're going all the way down to kids bikes. So they rode the 250F and just unbelievable reviews. Incredible. People are blown away about this bike. It looks like closer to a factory bike than a production bike. The thing's got Torx heads on every bolt. No octagon, so it's very British. But like they did so when you look at the bike looks like it has a YZ250 frame and a KTM 250SX engine. So people are kind of like, "Oh, did they buy this engine? Did they buy this frame? What did they do?" Dude, these guys did not fuck around. The bike has been in the plan since 2019. So they hired Ricky Carmichael Daytona of 2019 to finally start working on this damn thing. And we're just seeing it now. And, we haven't heard about it. So they kind of did, what you're talking, kept this whole project under wraps.
Yeah.
Like, people heard about it because it's a small sport and you can't really keep any of that shit quiet completely. But for the most part, like, they've been able to keep it down. But the bike, for all accounts, has its own identity. It's supposed to be just unbelievably compliant. Like the chassis, just everybody's just raving about the chassis. Like for some reason, everything's just gone stiffer and stiffer and stiffer in moto. Even since I was on my last bike was really stiff compared to the prior one, and they're just going stiffer and stiffer to the point where guys are like sick of it. Like it's just too stiff. It's destroying your hands when you land. Like guys are having a hard time getting their bikes dialed in. So to get on this thing immediately, like, whoa, this thing is smooth, it's soft, it's compliant. And the motor, they have the best power to weight ratio in class on year one. So a 228-pound bike with 48 horsepower. That should be impossible. The Japs have been doing this for 50 years. So these guys come in on year one. And nobody's saying that it's top bike, but they're saying it's top 3 bike, which is huge. Like Suzuki's been making bikes for 50 years. And they're saying that, this thing's like not even close, like way better than a Suzuki. So to me, it's worrisome for HD. But also at the same time, I hope that they look at this and go, this is working. And maybe this is something we should try. Like, it's really cool to see how pumped everybody is on the bike. It's not like they're going, oh, these fuckers trying to come in and, take over. Everybody's just pumped on it. It's such a cool looking bike. It's just it's fucking different. We need it. You know, it's more factory teams, it's more riders, it's more mechanics, more drivers, just more jobs, more money. And that's a fucking huge deal. At the same time, a couple weeks ago, Ducati did their launch on their bike, their 450, which is they're going to start racing it this year in Italy. And talk about a launch. Like, these guys didn't fuck around. You can tell that they know what works for them in MotoGP, and they're bringing it here. They did not skimp a bit. We're talking high dollar cameras, high dollar microphones, just beautiful everything. And you see this bike and you just go, holy shit, that's a fucking Ducati. And you just think, like, man, and now Ducati's going to be able to do the same thing if they want to, lower the age of their customers, because they're kind of the same way. They're kind of geared towards like a 45-year-old guy that makes $200,000 a year and lives in Silicon Valley. Like, that's their customer right now. And, you know, I don't think they'll be able to sell little bikes. I don't think they'll be able, they're going to be too expensive for something like that. But you can still get people at 18, 20 and get them onto a dirt bike and lower your age. So it's, could you see HD doing something like that? Or do you think that that's just so far out of their wheelhouse and such a major investment that they're not even going to look at something like that?
Well, I mean, fuck, dude. The only thing I think of is, well, they went out on a big old fat limb on the live wire. I mean, and that panned out the way it did. So, but like you asked, and like I was saying, I feel like they are heading in the right direction with their current models. And, you know, it honestly wouldn't surprise me if they got something in the deep, dark bowels of the R&D department.
It's just crazy that, like, America's the center of supercross and motocross, and now we've got the Japs, we've got the Euros, the Italians, and the Brits are all in. And here we have the most famous motorcycle company in the history of the world, just like, we're gonna make an electric bike that nobody wants.
Yeah,
I think there's any is there like a feel of self-realization around there about that bike? Like, this is not what we thought it was going to be.
In Milwaukee.
Yeah.
It honestly, it's like,
it's like it doesn't exist.
It's like the bastard child of the king who fucked the chick that makes the bread in the kitchen and popped out a baby. Like, it's just not really, it's not really talked about very much at all.
Yeah. What else are you going to do besides act like it doesn't exist, right?
Yeah. I mean, shit. Yeah. I'm taking that advice in more than one area of my life right now.
Well, on that, let's move into some fucking news. I got ourselves a local story tonight. This is I've got one of these signs in my driveway. So let's listen to what's going on in my neighborhood.
Plan in Nampa are halted after hours of tense testimony last night that we covered on the news at 10. The city of Nampa's Planning and Zoning Commission denied the conditional use permit in a 5-4 vote. Arjun Binkley joins us with reaction from people vehemently opposed to this project and information on what's next.
Morgan, Utah-based construction company Sunrock wanted this conditional use permit, or CUP, to build the plant south of Nampa's airport in an area zoned light industrial, which was next to some neighborhoods. Now, residents of those neighborhoods have been very vocal against this plant being built where it was planned.
This is less than a quarter mile from my house. Remember the airport?
I was gonna ask you that.
Right, that field where all the cattle was, right beyond that. You're gonna go right fucking there.
Boy. Is it time?
You can imagine I wasn't happy about that.
It sounds like a good situation for Nick to get on Facebook Marketplace and find himself a Komatsu.
A Komatsu? What's a Komatsu?
The dude, what was it, Granby, Colorado? The dude that armored up his big old freaking dozer and tore through the town.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
over
the
a concrete
killer
plant.
dozer.
It was over a concrete plant.
That's right. Oh shit! The killdozer. I fucking remember that guy.
Do
yeah.
you?
Fuck yeah.
Have you ever heard of Whistling Diesel?
No.
He's a really, really, really famous YouTuber, and a lot of his old stuff was really cool. You know, he wasn't rich yet, and he would just, you know, buy trucks and whatever, and just basically trash them. He's got some really good ones. He does a really good Hilux Toyota test. It's like a 3 or 4 part series. It's probably better than the Top Gear Hilux test, but he does.
Oh, no shit. I'll have to watch
check
that.
him out. He's all over YouTube. But he just bought one of those killdozers. He found one in Montana and came up and got it.
Hell yeah.
And I think
I need to get that guy's number.
I think we might need to send him a clip of what's happening in Nampa, and he can just bring his Komatsu up on a trailer. Dude, he got it and then took it to Granby, Colorado, and drove it around town and like went and interviewed people that actually.
Oh, dude, I need to get
it.
that guy in here. That would be something. All right, let's finish with this report.
Not have a doubt in my mind that when these folks begin to find out that we have a cement factory blowing dust into the air, corrosive dust into the air, that we're going to have a problem.
So that lady ran the Warhawk Museum. I don't know if I think we might have went to the museum when you were here. I can't remember. But we've got like a World War II museum at that airport. And this chick got up here and she was like, we have multi-million jets flying in here every week. You really think they're going to keep flying into our airport if they have to like fly through a cloud of cement dust every day? She's like, no. And even if it's not bad 90% of the time, the off chance that it's going to be bad, we'll just have them go somewhere else because it's like, hey, we're not going to deal with this shit. We're not going to get the fiberglass stuck in our tires. We're not going to get our paint blasted by sulfur. Like, we're just not going to deal with it. We'll go somewhere else. And she's like, what do you think's going to happen to the engines on our World War II planes? Like, you can't just destroy these things and have them stick around forever. So, just unreal. Let's keep going.
Hours of public testimony over a proposed concrete batch plant south of the Nampa airport.
5-4, this conditional use permit has been denied. Whoa. Hold on.
Nampa's Planning and Zoning Commission denied the conditional use permit for the controversial project.
I was elated, super happy.
Residents of nearby neighborhoods have spoken out against the proposed plant. Roughly 300 people showed up for public testimony Tuesday night.
There's 1,240 homes.
Oh, I was going to ask that.
3 schools. 2 of them are elementary schools. You know, I mean, it's not a good location.
Residents say if the plant was built at the proposed location, it would impact the airport, cause possible health risks from air pollution, and lead to increased noise and traffic on neighborhood roads.
My biggest concern with this project is the truck traffic, because their permit will allow them 4,000 cubic yards of cement a day. That means 400 loads coming out.
That's a lot of loads.
So if they're
800
coming
trucks
out,
a day.
there's a truck going in on these roads.
And
These
you know
little
what
roads
happens
right
when you get
The city
truckers?
says the first
You know what happens when you get truckers? You get lot
What do you
lizards.
Hell yeah, I could take a lot lizard or 2 right now. Man, yeah, I went to this fucking thing. I was actually really bummed because, like I said, I've got signs in my yard. Like, I get this fucking thing out of there. And I like wrote up a speech and everything. And for some reason, I got the time wrong, and I showed up an hour and a half late. And I realized as I was driving there, I'm like, fuck, man, I'm late. And I was like, well, and my thought was like, you kind of never really know how big these things are just based on like signs on the side of the road. So I was kind of like thinking there's probably going to be like 50 people here. And so I should at least, like, since I'm so close, show up, spout some bullshit, and then fucking peace out.
Yeah.
So I show up at 7:30, and dude, I had to stand in the doorway. You couldn't even get into the room where they were holding it. Like, people were sitting everywhere. And the feeling around, I think we've listened to enough of it. The feeling around the meeting was this was gonna pass. That somebody's gotten bribed, somebody's gotten their hand greased.
Oh, everybody, yeah,
and
for sure.
they weren't gonna do shit about this. So luckily, it did not fly. Actually, let's go. Whatever. I'll read this thing. So Sunrock, the company, they have the ability to appeal, and if they do that, then we'll go to the what is it? City council, and we'll do the same thing, essentially. So if somebody hasn't been bribed yet, they will be getting bribed soon. And listen to this statement. Our Sunrock team hoped for a different outcome tonight. The commission previously found the proposed use satisfied permanent criteria. And something I forgot to add in this. So this place was off the road. And when you put a new something in like that, there's a hearing for it. So the community has a chance to say whether they want it there or not. So the fucking city put the goddamn sign a quarter mile off the main road, down a road that has a gate on it. So you can't even go in there and look at the sign if you knew it was there. So this thing passes, and then they I guess Sunrock kind of fucked up and lapsed on their permits. So we'll see. I'm not, at this point, like, I was pissed because I was going to show up, I was going to speak, and by the time I got, there was 300 people there, and there was 48 people speaking. I couldn't even get into the room to see if I could sign up afterwards. So
well, next
we'll
time.
see what happens.
Because I mean,
Exactly.
odds are they're going to appeal unless they just for whatever reason decide to totally abandon it.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. I was going to finish reading this. Our hope has always been to help build the community of Nampa. Their mission statement is building a better community. Our community clearly does not fucking want you here, right? So imagine if in that field I decided to build a dirt bike track. Do you think we'd be having a meeting at the planning commission? No. They'd have sent the fucking police. They'd have shut us the fuck down, and they'd have told us to pound salt. Like, the fact that we're even having a meeting about this is ridiculous. Drive around, look around. We don't want you here. Period.
See, you're misinterpreting their mission statement there, Nick. What they mean.
Oh, really? Am I? What is it?
What they mean is they're not trying to better the current community. They want to better the future community of undocumented citizens that are on their way there, and then
they are building back better.
They will. They will be living in the pods. They will be eating the bugs, and you will own nothing, and you'll like it.
Our home, road, and building concrete, or every home, road, and building needs concrete. By having a facility close to the need, costs are reduced and the trucks spend less time on the roads, benefiting taxpayers, roads, and air quality. Yeah, you're going to destroy our fucking road.
Air quality.
And dude, the air quality, oh my God. Like, that's how out to lunch these fucking people are on climate change, where they're going to show up to a meeting and going like, we don't want poisonous dust being disseminated throughout our neighborhood. And they go, well, what about the CO2 from our trucks?
Yeah,
Fuck you, man.
That's ridiculous.
We got rid of emissions in this state. You don't have to pass emissions anymore. We don't give a fuck about your trucks.
Yeah.
Just keep them out of our neighborhoods.
Like more CO2, please. Yes, keep the toxic concrete dust.
Keep us warm
as far away as you can.
Yeah. Run your fucking trucks.
Like what?
I don't give a shit.
I don't
care if you have, and they want to be here because they're close to the freeway.
Yeah, that's it. And probably, I mean, I would imagine that they're probably kind of like centralized to whatever they need to bring in to actually make the concrete. You know what I mean? It probably geographically makes sense to be there, but at the end of the day, like, I don't know if we got to that part of the video or you mentioned it, but it didn't pass 5-4. I couldn't believe that it was only 5-4. Like, only one vote, only one fucking vote. meant that it didn't pass.
What the fuck were those 4 people thinking?
Exactly.
Who's paying you? What community do you live in? Like, who are you representing? What the fuck is wrong with you? Look around. And I was talking to my mom about this earlier. I wish I had like the chops to do investigative work. I just don't really know how to do it because somebody's getting paid here.
Oh, for sure.
They're getting paid either like the city council or the plan. Somebody's getting paid. And I just wish I knew, because nobody gives a fuck. Our local papers, all they give a shit about is Donald Trump.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck about what's happening to us. As long as Donald Trump doesn't get elected, that is all they give a shit about.
Really?
That's why don't you do an investigation? And that's all they write about is Donald Trump. It's disgusting. Yeah. And it's like, why don't you write about the Sunrock plant? Why don't you write about what happened? You remember when I told you about our local lighthouse mission that like took care of homeless vets being changed into the Ukrainian rescue mission? So that fucking building, the Ukrainian Welcome Center, who never had a car in the driveway the entire fucking time. They had one barbecue that I saw. I never, ever saw another person there. Their doors remained locked. They had chains around the fucking doors so people didn't break into it. They have now moved to a bigger building. A bigger fucking building. And now the lighthouse mission is back again. So it's like, oh, well, let's reopen up our first scam and move our second scam into a bigger fucking building that no one is ever going to enter.
It's a shell game. And there's probably a
disgusting.
lot, like you said, a lot of money being fucking funneled.
Yep. But this is all we ever get, you know. This is Rachel Maddow, but my local news is no fucking different.
The court, as the Supreme Court of the United States and a rational actor and a decent one, that was a reasonable supposition, and it just turns out they're not bad. Incremental bit of progress here. The important question here is not whether the Supreme Court is going to decide that Donald Trump and all presidents are immune from prosecution for things crimes they committed while they were president. I mean, it would be fully insane for them to actually side with Trump here, right?
This woman calling other people fully insane.
Conclusion that we can arrive at now based on what they have done without having to wait for the ruling is that they are ensuring that Trump will not face trial. And when they inevitably rule that presidents aren't immune from prosecution after they leave office, what that will tell Donald Trump, if by then he is president, is that he can never leave the office of the presidency.
It's unbelievable. Right.
And if he is voted out in 2028, he cannot leave office, and he is willing to he is welcome to commit any crimes he wants to, as long as he is still president, in order to ignore the result of that election and stay in power for life, because otherwise he is going to go to prison when he gets out.
Yeah, because
King Trump.
That's what happened. That's what happened last time, right?
Yeah, he was never going to leave office.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's never going to leave. You see, you've got QAnon saying he's still in office, and Biden's wearing an ankle bracelet. And then you got Rachel Maddow, who's left-wing QAnon, saying that he's going to be king for life. But you know what this has done? This has made me revisit my theory on who the establishment wants to be president. Remember, we were kind of been batting this around, thinking that they wanted like Nikki Haley, right? I think at this point, she's talking as if he's already elected. There's no doubt. Did you kind of pick up on that too? Like, there's no doubt in her mind that, like, well, that's just why we have to stop him at the ballot box or something. Like, they are already completely resigned to the fact that he is in there.
Yeah.
And I think that they are going to demolish our economy. They're going to put him in there, and they're going to demolish our fucking economy. They're going to destroy everything they possibly can, and they're going to go, look at what he did.
Yeah.
This is why we can't allow outsiders. This is why we can't allow madmen. This is why you have to have adults in the room.
Even
look out, people. Like, this is fucking
even a senile.
This is real shit.
Even a senile. Sleepy Joe. You know, like,
it's wild,
that's not an adult.
These
That's
people
not
are
an
nuts.
adult. He's got the mind of a child at best.
Yeah. It's fucking crazy. And these crazy lunatics, like at my local paper, they won't shut up about climate change and air quality and blah, blah, blah. They're losing their fucking minds that we got rid of emissions rules here. But you start pumping poisonous gas into the air around 3 schools and 1,700 people, and they're like, but did you hear what they said about Donald Trump?
Yeah.
It's like, come on, people. You're missing the forest for the trees here. Like, focus on your local community. Like, you're destroying us at a local level.
Yeah.
Like you said, who the fuck are those 4 people? Dig into their fucking background. I want to know who they are and why the fuck they voted yes.
Do we
even if they have a good reason for it? Like, why did these people vote yes?
Even if
this is aggression against a fucking nice community. This was what my speech was going to be, essentially. It's like, I'm a libertarian. I think all you people are worthless. I don't think we should even be here today. This is ridiculous. If I opened a dirt bike track across the street where they're going to put this thing, you would shut us down in a second. You would cite environmental hazards, dust hazards, particulate matter.
Noise.
There's a creek over there, so I'm sure you're fouling waterways too.
Yeah.
But you get a fucking concrete plant in here who's going to destroy that waterway, wreck our local roads,
literally destroy the waterway,
destroy our destroy our waterways, destroy our roads, destroy our fucking airport, and all you can do is just go, well, Trump. It drives me out of my fucking mind. And it's the same thing with the other side, where all they can do is scream about Biden. But why is there only 300 people there? There's 1,700 people in this housing community. Where the fuck were the rest of them? And I have a bad, like, it's hard for me to judge because I showed up late, but I stood there for an hour doing nothing just so I could say, like, there's an extra person here. There's another set of boots. There's somebody standing outside to be able to, like, that's important.
Yeah.
That they see that. There was news cameras there. They need to see that not everybody can get inside. I was blown away that there was that many people there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no,
and that's sad.
The video, of the like meeting room or whatever. Yeah, it was like packed. And that was the first thought when I saw it. I was going to ask you if you went. I was like, I'm sure that's something you would attend. And even the video that they showed of a neighborhood, I was like, that kind of fucking looks like his neighborhood.
Yeah, it was me. But no, my whole thing was, this is aggression. Like, I'm a libertarian. I believe in bodily autonomy, property rights, and the non-aggression principle, which means that you do not commit aggression against peaceful people. We are a peaceful neighborhood. They are coming in here. They're destroying our roads. They're attacking our lungs. They're putting our children in danger. This is an aggressive act by an outside interloper.
Well, I mean,
we don't want you here.
Mostly peaceful. There's some people.
This is a company from Utah. No, this is a Utah company. This isn't even a local company.
Yeah.
These are interlopers. They're coming in and they are fucking with our community and they are not wanted. That is what an interloper is.
Yeah. It's a mostly peaceful community because there are some bad apples involved in the like HOA. Me. No, not you. No, I consider you a good apple. There's motherfuckers that weren't at that meeting that were complaining about your sign in your window, correct?
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Those
Absolutely.
assholes are probably eating this shit up. Be like, oh, yeah, it'll be good for the community. Blah, blah, blah. It's going to cut down on CO2.
There was not one person who said that. Like, they had a shill there, like, representing them, but not one person from the community said anything positive about it. Well, not one.
At a certain point, once you got to read the room. Once you see that kind of a turnout, and you start seeing the people's faces and start hearing the comments, and you hear everybody in the background going, yeah. You just gotta, like, any kind of like company.
The fact that you're listening to that and you're still gonna stand up and go, we're just doing what's best for you.
Yeah.
Like, don't listen to, like, your neighbors, and don't, like, listen to common sense. Don't read studies on the internet that have looked at these things. Don't go and look up how many bribery cases there are for land permits in this state in the last 10 years. No. Just listen to me tell you that I'm here to improve your life. I understand what you're saying, that it's dangerous and it might give you cancer. Just trust me.
Oh, what's a little bit of cancer?
It's going to turn out better for you.
What's a little bit of cancer?
Yeah, not to mention what it's going to do to our fucking property values.
Oh, right. So what do we got to do? Do we need to do Too Hard for the Radio little investigative journalism mission here?
Maybe
we need to get some names. We need to get some names. We can get some addresses.
This is a possibility. We can get some addresses. We can get some names.
I mean,
we can get some cars.
I got free time. Free time.
We'll pull some GPS trackers, popping them under hoods. Yeah. Oh yeah, I get serious. Too Hard for the Radio investigations.
I mean, like I said, I got nothing.
I've got time.
I got time.
I have time, and I have a set of skills. I have a set of skills.
Very
useful.
A very specific set of skills. I can drink beer really
very
good.
Very specific set. And I'm very good at yelling at people. Oh boy, am I good at yelling at people. My plan was, because I got there and I was like, well, because I talked to this woman who was leaving. I was like, what's going to happen? She's like, they're not going to do shit. And I was like, great. So my plan was like, all right, I didn't do anything like when I should have. So they're going to approve this. And the first day that I see them doing work out there, I'm going to go park my car. I'm going to get a fucking bullhorn, and I'm going to start bullhorning all their fucking drivers and all their contractors. Get the fuck out of my neighborhood. We don't want you here. And that was going to be my plan. Hopefully I don't have to do that.
Well, I think it just, I'm just kind of in the mood to go watch Fight Club now and just get in the mood for some good old fashioned anarchy,
Mr. Robot
chaos.
Oh, dude, have you ever seen Mr. Robot?
No, I don't think so.
Oh my God, dude, you got to watch Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot is the shit. I can't even tell you anything about it. That's all I can say. Because if I say anything, it's going to be fucked. Just watch it and thank me later.
Okay.
You can suck my dick later.
Mr. Robot.
Yeah, Mr. Robot. All right, we got a few more minutes. Let's do one more story. I really hated to do this to you, but we had a Bitcoin episode a couple months ago, we might have taken a little time to get things done, and let's just say Bitcoin is up.
Yeah. I know. I saw that. Good. Yeah, I feel like a goddamn idiot.
Hey, but at least you get to go to Vegas, right?
Oh. Fuck. Low blow.
Sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
Hey.
I'm sorry.
I still just might. I still just might.
Oh, yeah. Why not?
I'm down.
All right,
I'm down to wreck shit.
I saw this video today, and after I jerked off to it like 5 different times, I thought of you.
That just warms my heart.
About Bitcoin. And now, whenever I talk about Bitcoin on DDTG Global, the Bitcoin memers, who are the best in the world, come at me. And for the next 48 hours, I'm going to have Michael Saylor. I'm going to have you get the price you deserve, and this and that, and fucking this and that. And they're going to be doing the Winklevosses telling me about aliens. I get it. But again, I didn't doubt Bitcoin. I don't know what people don't see the difference there. Like, yeah, I don't have it in the keychain. I don't buy it from the ether. I was buying it the simple way for a human. And then that fat fuck with the curly hair, FTX, fucking SBF, that fucking scumbag, fucked me. So FTX owes me like $1 million.
Oh, I fucking love that. I jerked off to that so many times. It made me feel so good. I couldn't help myself.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there again and again and again. Not your keys, not your coin, brother.
Yeah.
That's not your keys, not your coins. If you go on to the Coinbase and hey, look at my account, I've got 1 Bitcoin. Do you? Do you really have 1 Bitcoin? No, you don't. You have a number on a screen. You gave your money to a fucking criminal and you have a money on a screen. That's what you get. That's what you get. You did it the right way. You just didn't pull the trigger at the right time. But there is also other good news for you. Let's go to Michael Saylor here real quick. Actually, first. Now let's do this, and then I have a quick story, and we'll get out of here.
Well, I've famously said I'm going to be buying the top forever.
Buy the top
Bitcoin
forever.
is the exit strategy. It is the strongest asset. So what we see right now is the Bitcoin has just emerged as a $1 trillion asset class. And it's alongside names like Apple and Google and Microsoft. But the difference between Bitcoin and the Magnificent Seven is Bitcoin's an asset class. It's not a company. There's not enough room in the capital structure of those companies to hold $10 trillion or $100 trillion worth of capital. So Bitcoin's competing against gold, which is 10x what it is right now. It's competing against the S&P index. It's competing against real estate, $100 trillion plus asset class as a store of value. So we believe capital is going to keep flowing from those asset classes into Bitcoin because Bitcoin is technically superior to those asset classes. And that being the case, there's just no reason to sell the winner to buy the losers.
So hey, at least you'll know when you're buying. Michael Saylor's buying too. Michael Saylor's got 1,100 Bitcoin, and he's still fucking buying. 1,700 Bitcoin.
Jesus.
Yeah, 1,700 Bitcoin. Yeah, 1,700 Bitcoin. He's doing pretty well, but he's going to keep buying the top forever because there's just no better money, man. It's just how it is. So quick story. My birthday, I went out to dinner, and I really hope my family doesn't listen to this. I'm talking to my uncle. Somebody brought up something. Bitcoin got mentioned. I didn't bring it up. Somebody else brought it up.
That's always the way these stories
and
start. I didn't bring it up.
Yeah. Somebody else brought it up, not me. I didn't bring it up. And so then my uncle says something about it, and just some BoomerCon thing, like he doesn't know what he's talking about. And I kind of explain it to him a little bit, and I'm like, BlackRock just launched this ETF, and I went and talked to a money guy about a year ago, and he laughed in my face when I told him that I owned Bitcoin, and now he's fiducially obligated to tell his customers about it. And my mother's husband did not take kindly to that comment because it was his money guy.
I remember you telling me.
I didn't say it was his money guy. I didn't say it was his money guy, and he doesn't know how many money guys I met with before I settled on mine.
Yeah.
But I kind of didn't realize that. Like, I didn't think he would take it that bad.
Well, he shouldn't have because you didn't mention it. He's sour because you were right.
Yeah. Well, get this. So he just like kind of under his breath, he goes, "It's not going to be around soon." I go, "What?" He goes, "The government's going to regulate it out of existence." And I go, "What the?" And I go, "You have no idea what you're talking about." And he kind of just looked at me, and I was like, "You literally know nothing about Bitcoin, right?"
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? I literally just told you that BlackRock, the biggest hedge fund in the world, launched an ETF, and $500 million a day is getting pumped into it. You really think the government's going to swoop in and just cut off their best friends at the knees? He's like, "Yep, they're losing too much money." And I was like, dude, you're out of your mind. I was like, the billionaires are in charge. I was like, you really think that the government is in charge of the billionaire class? And he was like, "Of course." And I was like, "Oh, that's cute. That's cute." And that really kind of got under his skin, I think. And I was like, dude, the billionaires allow this system because they like it. They are getting rich on our money. If this was a true free market and the government didn't exist, these people would have to get rich the hard way. And they don't want that. They allow this system because it is beneficial to them. And then he just looks at me all pissy, and I can see his face getting all red. And he goes, "You have too much trust. You have too much faith in that." And I go, "You have too much faith in the dollar." And at that point, my mom broke us up, and we did not speak for the rest of the evening.
Good job, Mom.
Yeah. And I feel bad about it. Like, I didn't handle it the way I should have. I could have handled it much better.
Well,
Like, I'm just not good I'm not good in those situations. And I got very angry when he started to tell me what I should be doing with my money.
Yeah.
Especially since I've 3x'd my money since I got it.
Yeah.
Like, the money I've put into Bitcoin since I got money, I have 3x'd.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's ever 3x'd an investment in his life.
Yeah. That's
and I wouldn't have had, like, we were talking about Ducati before that, and he knows all kinds of shit about Ducati. Like, he's a street bike guy. He raced Ducatis. So, like, if he would have told me, I think that Desmo valve system's not gonna work on the dirt bike, I would have been, really? Why?
Yeah.
Like, tell me more,
Yeah,
please.
yeah,
Like, you know something
like,
about this? Like, please tell me more.
Yeah.
Like, if he goes, it's not going to be gone soon, and I go, are you crazy? I would go, maybe. Tell me more.
Yeah, that's the one thing, man.
You know a lot about this Bitcoin thing. Tell me what I don't know. Why am I wrong? And listen to me, and then just go, huh, whatever. Still not going to buy it. It's my fucking birthday. So, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not going to hold it against him when he comes and asks me how to buy Bitcoin. I will not rub his face in it. I will point out that if he would have listened to me on that day, because I'll always remember what day it was, that the price was $42,000. And now it's $142,000. So you get the price you deserve. And on that note, let's call it a night. All right, man. Good talking to you again. We'll do this again next week. Buy Bitcoin.
Maybe, subscribe.